starts where chaos begins. The signal in the noise, if you're willing to listen.
Greetings, Internet faithful.
There's a mimetic legend of unknown origin of the two wolves we carry inside of us. While poetic in its depiction of the persistent inner conflict we carry within us, I think the critical flaw of the parable is that it overlooks the why, the root cause of what drives that conflict. So let me put my spin on this classic. We carry within us a societal inheritance, a special kind of damage that only the ones closest to us, our families, may bless us with. Every family carries a ledger. Some hide it in drawers between recipe cards and expired warranties. Others tattoo it into every conversation, every sigh, every awkward pause at the dinner table. The ledger doesn't track love. It tracks transactions. Who owes who sacrificed, who squandered, who will never pay back what can't be repaid. You grow up inside it. At first it just feels like air, normal, predictable, cause and effect. Do this, get that. Avoid this, dodge that. The rituals are simple enough. Do what's asked without protest equals less yelling. Bringing home good grades equals temporary approval and validation. Showing affection equals avoiding guilt trips. But nothing is unconditional. Every kindness has a fine print. Every gift comes with an invoice. Even "I love you" arrives with an unspoken clause. Don't disappoint me. How many times have you heard it? After all I've done for you. Or, do you know what I had to do for you too? Followed by whatever guilt-soaked sacrifice they've decided you'll carry like a yoke. That's the inheritance. Not love, not trust. A tally sheet. Pain by numbers. Always love the ones you hurt, right? The worst part is how portable it is. The ledger doesn't stay locked in the family cabinet. It travels with you. You carry it into friendships, into lovers, into work. You measure intimacy in ratios. You hand out affection like ration cards. You become the accountant of your own captivity, balancing numbers that never add up, that never will add up, that never could add up. The cruelest trick is that it feels fair. In a system of transactions, there are always receipts, always proof, always something to point to when the love runs dry. See, look how much I gave. Look how little I got back. Heartbreak becomes math. Relationships collapse into commerce, and fairness masquerades as connection. Transactional relationships mimic real connection just enough to fool you. They promise predictability. Do this, get that. Push the right buttons, outcomes validation, affection, sex, a semblance of intimacy. Until the day you're empty. The day you need care without barter, love without terms, and the machine jams. That's when the mask falls. You see it clearly. Not love, not loyalty, only commerce. Family as an LLC. Affection as a contract. And if all you've ever known is commerce, real love feels like a foreign language. Here's the truth. You don't break the cycle by rewriting the ledger. You break it by burning the fucking thing. That isn't noble. It's brutal. The ledger is comfortable. It gives you rules to follow, a sense of control. To abandon it is to step into free fall. To give without keeping score is to risk being bled dry. To love without condition is to invite betrayal. And maybe betrayal comes. Maybe you give and get nothing. Maybe you love and it isn't returned. That's the cost. That's the gamble. But it's also the only way out. Because as long as you're balancing the ledger, you're still chained to it. You're not free. You're just an accountant keeping the family curse alive. I've seen how the ledger warps everything. Birthdays become obligations. Holidays become negotiations. Conversations become invoices. And I've caught myself replicating it. Keeping score with friends. Measuring intimacy by percentages. Holding back until I was sure of a return. And when I catch myself engaging in this, it sickens me, because the only path it leads to is emptiness disguised as fairness. So I fight, clumsily, imperfectly, but I fight. I remind myself generosity isn't weakness. Love isn't math. The most radical act is to give without expecting anything back. Not because it makes me noble, because it makes me human. Breaking a generational curse isn't a grand declaration. It's 1,000 small acts of resistance. Saying, I love you, without waiting to hear it back. Giving a gift without strings. Showing up for someone who may never show up for you. Refusing to measure your worth by how much you're needed. It feels unnatural at first, like everyone else is still playing the game while you've sat down on the sidelines as a spectator. But slowly it reshapes you. Slowly you learn that unconditional love isn't naive, it's rebellion. In a world obsessed with transactions, to love without keeping accounts is an act of war. Like war, there's always fallout. Families don't like it when you torch the ledger. They'll call you ungrateful, selfish, irresponsible. They'll say you're dishonoring sacrifices, traditions, bloodlines. Because in a transactional system, someone has to keep the books. If you refuse, they'll scramble to find another accountant, or they'll weaponize the empty pages against you, insisting you failed to pay your dues. That's the price. You decide if freedom is worth it. For me, it is, because the alternative is worse, passing the ledger to the next generation, condemning them to the same arithmetic of obligation. Better they inherit nothing than inherit that. The world already commodifies us. Corporations, platforms, economies, everything is transactions. If we let our families, our friendships, our loves collapse into the same structure, what's left? Ultimately, I think that's what's represented by signal and noise. Signal and noise is about separating what matters from what distracts. And here's the truth that matters. Relationships are not economies. Love is not math. Affection isn't debt. Connection isn't a ledger. The noise is the endless tallying. Who called who? Who gave what? Who owes more? The signal is this: giving without expecting a return. Loving without keeping accounts. Generosity and empathy for their own sake. So, maybe the real question isn't whether we can break the cycle. It's whether we're willing to. Willing to risk the fallout. Willing to live with imbalance. Willing to admit freedom means letting the books burn. Will I ever learn to master control over the impulse to balance the books? Damned if I know. This type of conditioning feels hard-coded into our collective DNA. But every time I refuse to open it, every time I choose covenant over contract, every time I give without tallying the return, I get a little bit closer. And maybe that's enough.